Welcome to Creative Brews. I'm Kristen, and this is your weekly dose of creativity, where photography, design, and life come together. So, grab your favorite drink, and let's talk about what's brewing. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Creative Brews. We are gonna jump right into the almost last episode of this mini series that I have really been enjoying, honestly. Anything with, I guess you could say, psychology and stuff like that really intrigues me, I have to say. So, yes, we are, like I said, going to jump right on into it. I've got my little cat mug with some coffee. It's a very ugly day, to say the least. It is rainy and cold and just, yeah. Sorry, my phone is vibrating. Anyways, like I said, we're going to jump right on into it. And if you could, well, for the visual podcast peeps, as you can see, I have like a little stack of books of my book, which is now worldwide. So you can buy my book basically anywhere you can buy books. It's, if I was to sit here and list it all, I would just, here, I'll list a few. You can buy my book on or at Walmart, on walmart.com, Barnes & Noble, and Amazon, just to list a few. You can just basically Google it. Soon I'll be revamping my website, as you can see is behind me. So I've got my website behind me, I've got my books, and these are here because, honestly, after I filmed this and everything, I am going to be getting these books ready to send off to a handful of people for them to read and review, which is amazing. Like, this is all just, I don't know, it's just crazy, I guess you could say. So yeah, definitely to read and review, and I'm hoping to, or I guess I'm kind of in the middle of getting a book signing lined up and everything. So more info to come. Anyways, not to make this longer than it needs to be, but cheers. It is not the morning time. Today has just been hectic. You could say my little one is teething. He already has 4 teeth, right? So he first started teething at 3 months, which I think is just crazy because I have 2 siblings, so I don't remember them teething that early. Anyways, little update, why not, since we're all here. But yeah, he started teething at 3. I think by 6 months he had 4 teeth. They're popped up and everything. And now he I'm not really sure how many teeth he's working on, but I want to say 4 more. There's like 2 up here, 2 down here. So yeah. Anyways, he's in pain. He's currently taking his nap, which I really hope he takes a good one because he needs it. He's very irritable because of the teething. Anyways, that's why I still have coffee that I made this morning and reheated. So, yes. Mom life! Anyways, let's get into it. So, the Mindset Myths mini-series. After this one, we have one more left on my list. So I've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will have made 7 episodes. I don't know. I mean, this might be an ongoing, like I might just make an episode here and there and still call it Mindset Myths. I just kind of like this idea because it's so true, especially living in our society. We all get caught in these like sayings, whether they're sayings just to kind of like motivate you, but then it kind of backfires, or you know, sometimes it becomes like a mindset. Yes. So yes, we are going to dive into today's topic, which is perfectionism is procrastination in disguise. This is something I won't be surprised if this episode is long, because this is something that I have caught myself in. And so obviously I've been really working on myself probably for the last, basically always. It's an ongoing project, I'm not gonna lie. But I have been really like diving into the roots, and all that. So taking a deep dive into myself, to work on myself. So, and sometimes you have to do that. So from time to time and stuff like that. So perfectionism is definitely something that I've had from a very, I guess, young age, you could say. I think the earliest like memory that I have of saying, "Oh no, like I can," because I think a lot of artists, in particular, always say, "Well, my work is never done," So is that them being a perfectionist, or is it just them saying, well, I could do this or that, and it not really be perfectionism? From my standpoint, and this is just my story or some information that I have from me, is that in the beginning, I guess I kind of thought, well, I could continue to work on this or that or whatever. But then somewhere along the lines, I'm like, no, wait a minute. Like, I can't do that until, like, I can't release this until it's perfect. But anyways, like, that is the trap that I got caught in, I guess you could say. Or, well, I can't do that until I'm completely ready, or until I have all the pieces. And a lot of times you end up hindering yourself, and you end up not even starting, or you end up on something else because you've told yourself, well, I can't do that until it's perfect. And newsflash, I think I've said this in a previous episode, perfection and just the word perfect does not exist in our world, in our society, okay? So let me just go ahead and start it out like that, okay? Perfectionism, the word perfect, I can't wait, or I can't release this until it's perfect, does not exist. If you live in the perfectionism mindset, you definitely need to do some work, because you will never release your painting, your book, your website, your business, your whatever you're working on. You will never release it. You'll never, maybe you'll start on it, but I think you kind of get the gist here. So, yes. I think I went through all of that. So, again, with all of these episodes, I preface this with saying this. I encourage everybody to do their own research, as I have done mine, especially for the psychology and some of the spiritual things that we will be diving into. Anyways, yes, I encourage you all to do your own research. Hopefully, again, I can provide a different point of view, or maybe some of my research is different than yours, and, we're kind of comparing notes per se, right? So, with every episode, I dive into the psychology, the spiritual / woo-woo. I try to give facts and insights, or maybe some different things to think about and stuff like that. And then at the end, we will reframe all of that, hopefully, are some different ways to think about the myth that we're talking about. And hopefully, like the end goal is to hopefully kind of switch some things around to maybe work better for you. Again, whatever works for me might not work for you, and vice versa, okay? So I do that. I say this in every episode because, yeah, like even opinions. Like my opinion is probably different than yours, and that's what makes the world a beautiful place to live, right? So everybody's got a different opinion, a different story. The list goes on. So, psychology. So the fear behind perfect. So perfectionism isn't a sign of high standards as we all dress it up to be, because we all do that, especially in the beginning. It's a strategy to avoid pain and being in discomfort. The brain tries its best to avoid you being in discomfort. Brené Brown describes it as a 20-ton shield meant to protect us from judgment or rejection. The root cause here is fear of being seen, failing, or not being enough. And your brain's role: mistakes trigger a threat response. So basically, in your brain, the fear and the fear of either failing or being judged or rejected, your brain, that triggers your brain, if I could talk, into the response of, I've got to protect and shield, and we can't allow that to penetrate. So what do? We delay to avoid that discomfort. We say, you know what, today's not a great day. Or I've been feeling bad anyway. You basically come up with any kind of, I don't know, like any kind of, what's the word? Any kind of, oh geez. I don't know. Apparently, the word I'm looking for has completely disappeared from my brain. Hopefully, it'll come to me. It's probably because I'm kind of a little scattered brain today. So, but you end up coming up with any kind of trick in the book to deter you from. I just think it's funny how the brain works. Because I'm basically explaining to you the word that I was trying to use. Anyways, yes. So your brain comes up with any tricks or trades to deter you from being in discomfort. You basically stay in planning mode, which keeps us safe and also stuck. So if you think about it, eventually someone who feels stuck and stuff like that, are you really stuck or are you just in your own way? Something to think about. That's gonna bother me. I can't think of the... See, sometimes when I film these, like I've got my notes here and stuff that I've wrote down, but I mean, obviously I don't sit here and go strictly by all of this. It's just here to keep if I do get stuck, it's supposed to help my brain be like, oh yeah, let's get back on track. But, anyways, procrastination link. So perfectionism is avoidance coping. It feels productive, but prevents progress. So basically what all that is saying is that it basically kind of keeps you living in your head. Like you feel productive. You feel like you've done some things, maybe some work toward whatever it is. But you don't see results because it never leaves from your brain. I hope that makes sense. You get a small dopamine hit for planning, which tricks your brain into thinking you're moving forward. Basically what I just said. Deeper emotional root. So many perfectionists grew up equating themselves. I'll start over. Many perfectionists grew up equating achievement with worth. Learning love was earned through performance. So perfectionism becomes a subconscious way to feel safe or accepted. Doesn't mean that that's always true, by the way. Just to put that out there. Here's a truth bomb. This isn't preparation. It's fear pretending to be productive. So basically going back to what I was just saying. I say we because I feel like, it's us talking. Does that make any sense? Anyways, it's basically everything that I just said in a nutshell. Okay, so let's move into the spiritual / woo-woo insights here. The truth, perfectionism is control energy, an energetic attempt to manipulate outcomes. So it's all about control and you trying to at least feel like you have some kind of sense of control over whatever it is. The ego says, if I can control everything, I can't fail. But control blocks flow, creative, and divine timing. So if you're trying to manifest, if you're trying to do all these things, You are literally blocking the universe, God, whatever you call your higher being, whatever you refer to as your higher being, you're literally slamming the door and blocking the pathway and the flow off. Spiritual perspective. Perfect doesn't exist as we just explained. It's an illusion of the mind, not the language of the soul. Your soul came here to express, not to impress. I'm going to say that one more time because I know it's kind of a play on words, but I really like it. Is your soul came here to express, not to impress. Every imperfect moment is sacred, and it's part of your becoming. Not everything needs to be, quote unquote, perfect. And you cannot control, I don't care who you are and what you think, you cannot control. Energy and manifestation. Perfectionism vibrates in fear and resistance. It literally resists you from growing and becoming, especially, like I said, if you're trying to manifest. The message it sends to the universe is, I'm not ready. The universe mirrors that back. Nothing moves until you do. I really like that as well. So, the law of energy here, the universe or God, like I said, whoever you refer to as your higher being, doesn't respond to hesitation. It responds to momentum and readiness. The moment you move, clarity and alignment follow. Here are some mantras and maybe some things to think about, or maybe a different way of thinking about. The universe doesn't want your perfection. It wants your participation. The universe can't steer a parked car. So, start driving, even if it's slowly. All right, I'm back. So, our little one just got up. He's in a lot better mood. Hopefully, his teeth, kind of subside for a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and move into the reframing and the closing of today's episode. So, old story, old news. I can't start until it's perfect. New news and new story. Instead of thinking I can't start until it's perfect or I can't release that until it's perfect, try thinking about it in this way. I'll refine as I go. Every step teaches me what I need next. Truths to not only remember, but to also kind of anchor your brain into. Perfectionism is paralysis, not protection. Procrastination is fear pretending to be productivity. Progress builds momentum, and momentum builds confidence. I really like the last one that I just said. Mindset shift. You don't wait until you feel ready. You become ready by doing, by movement. And that is energy in a nutshell. Energy is movement. Movement is energy. I know that sounds basic, but Yeah, it's literally it. Clarity is earned through movement, not overthinking. You cannot live in your head, because if you do, you will just become a shell of maybe who you once were, or you're definitely in the way of you becoming who you really truly desire to become. Yep. So clarity is earned through movement, not overthinking. You can't edit what doesn't exist. So start messy. Every successful person started in the mess. Started when it wasn't easy. Started with whatever they had at the time. Because if you don't start, then you're never going to. You're just going to come up with every, not lie, but every, not joke. Oh my God, that word again. Every trick in the book to keep yourself stuck and comfortable. Okay, practical reframes. So, some practical ways of reframing here. Done is better than perfect. Action over analysis. My first draft doesn't define me, it develops me. So, like, me personally, especially with this book over here, The Daily Divine, a book of soulful truths and everyday wisdom. My fiance will tell anybody, like, I kept going back and kept refining and refining, and he's like your book is like great. He's like, if you keep doing that, you're never gonna finish it. Like, nobody, whether you're an author or writer or artist in any way, shape, or form, whatever it is, whether you're performing something or singing or painting, whatever it is, if you don't let go a little and stop thinking that it has to be perfect or what you deem as perfect, then yeah, you're never going to finish whatever it is you're working on. Oh, I just not X'd out, but I went back. Okay, so some affirmations that I wrote down to kind of just go along with what we're talking about. I release the illusion of perfection and welcome the freedom of progress. That's basically what I was just saying. My imperfect steps are still sacred steps. I trust the timing, or I trust my timing, my growth, and my ability to refine along the way. So some reflective things to maybe think about, or an invitation sort of to your brain here, is where are you waiting for perfection before you begin? What would it feel like to simply start? Whether that be messy, real, and open to whatever unfolds. So, with all of that being said, basically, you don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You don't have to have it all figured out to begin. And progress is where presence and purpose meet. So, yeah, that's basically everything. I believe that I wanted to talk about. So yeah, after this, we have one more episode to go. That's crazy. I don't know why. I don't know why I picked up my coffee cup because I don't have any coffee left. But yeah, I really hope that today's episode was interesting, at least. And maybe gives you some things to think about and stuff like that. Again, this is coming from a perfectionist. It is something that I'm continually working on. I've gotten a lot better. But yeah, I feel like especially artists in general get caught in the loop or like a yo-yo effect of perfectionism and everything. So yes, the last one is more followers does not equal more success, which kind of goes into the overnight success illusion. So yeah, and then probably in the next episode, so the episode after this one, I'll kind of go into what else is to come. Because I know I've only done like one on motherhood and stuff like that. And I was basically going to go into, I guess, maybe some motherhood topics. I think that would be nice. Since I am 10 months postpartum. So I think that would be nice. But yeah, anyways, I hope you all, again, are enjoying these episodes. I hope they provide some kind of information and insight and some different ways and points of view to think about. But yeah, again, as always, if you've been enjoying these and you know someone who could benefit from watching these, please share it with them. And definitely do not forget to rate and subscribe and all the things. You can DM me if you don't want to comment or anything like that. But yeah, I hope you all have a great week, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!